Henry Hart here. With me always is the punk rock brother man, Mr. Johnny Noise.
Hey, there's the channel. We got a really cool show for you tonight. Uh, Coming from the West Coast out there. So I'll let Henry do the introductions and we'll kick it off.
All right, tonight we are very proud and honored to have with us Ryan and Jason from Boogeyman.
What's
What's
up,
going on,
guys?
guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hell yeah, glad to be here.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. Let's jump right into this. So, who are some of your guys' biggest influences?
I mean, I always say King Diamond with our music. Obviously the Misfits, Bad Religion. For me, those are like the sums it up.
I'd say another one to add, and I share those same influences Jason does. We're brothers when it comes to musical influences here. But Iron Maiden would definitely be another one here that's big for us. But yeah, Misfits, TSOL, Agent Orange, those sort of kind of West Coast bands at the time. Still today, love that stuff. So.
Ramones.
Oh, cool.
No,
Cool.
yeah.
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 Maybe some Black Flag or something.
Yeah, I like a lot of the 80s punk and late 70s, 80s stuff.
Yeah. I was caught up in it too, man. I mean, with the whole morning noise thing, and it was a different era back then, in New York. So than it is today.
Oh, I bet.
So it was definitely yeah. Playing CBs and Maxes and the Peanut Gallery, those places in New York City was like, back in the day was like the shit, So I thought it was pretty awesome,
Oh, yeah.
But,
I'd love
yeah,
to see some
yeah.
of that stuff. Missed it with some of them, unfortunately.
So were you on the? I just bought a record they released on Cleopatra a few years back. Were you on that record, the Morning Noise record? You're on that?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the full album that they re-released, with the curtains in the back, they were all standing there. I'm
Yeah.
on that one, and then I'm on the. Then after that, we did an LP with 4 songs at the Seville. I'm on that, and then shortly after that, I live in another state, so it's kind of almost impossible for me to continue on because they're in Jersey, I'm in Alabama. So we decided that, yeah. So I landed here by accident, as a matter of fact. But so it's impossible for me to kind of stay with it. I can't go, back and forth. There was no private jet. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so, yeah. But it is what it is. But of course, the early stuff that was all me, and then the At the Seville was my rhythm guitar work. And then I did a Black Friday show, flew in from New Orleans. We did that when everything kind of first broke out. And then I had to kind of step down after that because it's just impossible to kind of get back and forth, with everything. So
Sure.
it is what it is, though, Yeah, you enjoy the ride, man. You just take the ride, get on the bus, and keep going. So
That's right.
it's all good. Yes. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. So definitely awesome.
When you
Opened
did
up a
the-
lot of doors.
Hell yeah. When they played with the Misfits a few years back, were you like, come on, I could fly in for this one? Probably. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, trust me. I was hounding my cousins. I was ready to buy a ticket. But I get it. There was a lot involved with that show.
Sure.
And I would have had to come in pretty quick, and then they already had the set done up, and you need a good solid week or more to prep for something like that. And I just couldn't, pull that off. I could have been there a few days prior, but so I kind of understood there was a lot involved with getting all that together. I was disappointed. Don't get me wrong. I was like, son of a bitch, I want to get out there. But what do you do? You wish them well and say, hey, I know you guys are gonna kick ass and whatever, and so it's all good, and but yeah, man, I was I was a little fired up. Let's put it that way. But as you can imagine, it's like, hey, what the, but it's all good. I know logistically it was impossible. It was just impossible.
Yeah.
But not that I didn't drive him crazy on it. Trust me, I was poking the old bear. Come on, motherfucker.
Yeah,
It's all good. Like I said.
for this style of music, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everything changed. Kind of stepped away from the horror punk kind of thing a little bit. With what they're writing now, which is good. But like tell you what though, when I play out here with some of the bands, they want to hear some of the old stuff too. So they want to hear the
Yeah.
old punk. Hey, if the kiddies want it, I'm going to give it to them. So I still play some of the old school stuff. If I sit in with a couple of guys out here, like in Huntsville or Macon, Georgia, or whatever, I give them the old school morning noise, so it's pretty cool.
Nice.
So, but yeah. It's all good. But I know Henry's got some more questions for you guys. I mean, this is your show, man. Yeah.
We're curious.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
Ask away, guys. I don't have a problem because I always love hearing about this stuff. Um, but let's get into something that I really wanted to talk with you guys about. And let me stretch up over here. Now, your first full length album is Rotten Leaves, and it something I didn't know about that it comes with the graphic novel. You know, so how did that concept come up?
Well, that is actually our second full length album.
Oh, it's the second one. Oh,
Yeah. So we have
okay.
both albums story connect, and that book came out after the first album, and it kind of like leaves it
Okay,
in the
okay.
middle. The second album picks up where that book ends. So
Oh, wow. Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
so
right?
we wrote like the first album, Jason and I together, and I wrote all the music, and Jason wrote all the lyrics and the melodies and all that, and wrote out the story. And then we had one of our writer buddies kind of flesh out like that story like further, and that's where it all kind of started. So, because like with the Misfits and everyone, like writing songs about, Friday the 13th or what have you, we thought we should try doing something a little different and, like pen our own story here a little bit, and so that's kind of what we've done. We'd like to do a book for the second one for Rotten Leaves there, and we'll see, what happens with that. But we've been working on our EP here recently, and that's going to be kind of the prequel actually to the first and second album there, and we plan on having that out here in like the fall of this year.
Oh,
So
cool.
You heard it here first, folks.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Well,
That's it.
thanks.
We got the inside scoop. We got the inside
Yeah,
scoop. on that.
no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, thanks for correcting me on that because I just got both. I got both, and I was like really intrigued because I was like, okay, this follows it's a story and it's the telling of a story, and I was
Yeah.
really really intrigued. I sat and put the CD on and was spinning the music while I was reading the novel, and I was like, somehow it made sense.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Going back to the influences a little bit, it's not just musical. I'd say a lot of them, are kind of literary too. Like the H.P. Lovecrafts, the Stephen Kings. That kind of horror. In some ways, more appealing to Jason and I, more than movies even when it comes to that sort of thing. And so I think with that sort of, I don't know, narrative, I guess, we took off with that and just tried to do something a little different here. And it's been kind of fun, because everything is kind of real cinematic in our mind, when it comes to these things. And so we have a good time.
Yeah, everything means something. We wanted to out nerd the horror punk nerds, and I think we might have done it.
Well on our way.
Oh my God, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's something different. You know what I mean? You take a different approach out of putting all that together, other than just So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, your music. I listened to a few clips. How would you kind of describe your style? You know what I mean? Because it's a little different. Well, some of the songs I heard, it seems a bit different than like real hard punk or whatever. How would you kind of where would you put your music style? I guess for what you're doing.
We can either be pretty poppy, upbeat, or kind of hard. Definitely, there's the the American Psycho era type of Misfits thing, just the way palm mutes and stuff kind of have that influence always. So I don't know, metallic and yet simple.
I think we're also influenced by having organ in the band. Like Murder City Devils were real inspirational with kind of having the real grindy organ going on with some of their stuff, and kind of wanting to incorporate a little bit of that as well, doing all that. But I think a lot of our influence, or my influence, really is kind of like a '90s skate punk a little bit when it comes to this sort of thing. So I don't know, the NoFX, Pennywise, that era, Bouncing Souls, that sort of ness. Also like a big Cockspar fan. That sort of, I don't know, snotty rock a little bit. From time to time. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Yep. What you got, Henry?
Let's see. I'm going down the list because I made a little bit of a list of questions. So how was playing the show with y'all did a show recently with Evelyn's Casket and Nimvin. How did that show go?
It's a blast. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was. We've played with Evelyn's Casket before. We know David, great guy, and so it was nice of them to come out and do a show this time with Nimvind as well. And so it was nice to meet him, especially after hearing the songs over the years, and then like seeing it live for the first time, and then everyone hanging out and talking afterwards. That's what's so nice. Everyone just seems like get along and just have like an easygoing time, doing all this. And really, I think everyone just had a great night, all in all.
Feels like a triple whammy because Nikki's from 5 Cent Freak Show. He's in Evelyn's Casket as well. But those guys were absolute gentlemen. We got there, and they had their drums all set up and everything. And we got 6 members in our band. And so they went and took their instruments off, and we're like, no problem. You know what I mean? That does not happen a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Like, still stand on the floor to sing, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you start backlining, several bands, and let the stage is ginormous. Yeah, someone's gonna get squished off somewhere.
That's pretty much it. That's exactly it. It's like, all right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, we've like Huntsville, the clubs out here and stuff like that. A lot of times we wouldn't even swap. We would just leave the drum kit set up, whoever set up first, and everybody just makes it so much easier to swap out bands.
Yeah.
And then backline your amps. But we've done that before, and then at the Macon Arts Center, we played a couple shows down there, and same thing. The band before us was real cool. Said, "Look, can we just use your stuff? We'll just plug our shit in." And they're like, "Yeah, no problem, man." So, otherwise, man, breaking down drums and moving amps and trying to, when you're on a time crunch, when you got like a dozen bands and 2 buildings that we played in, you don't have time to, So it was like we were just borrowing equipment.
Yeah, leave the kit up there, bring your kick pedal, bring your snare, go.
That's it. Go. Yeah. Same thing with like guitar amps and stuff. I was like, dude, I got my effects processor, I can plug it into your shit, and everybody was real cool about it. Let's go. So yeah, you don't have that time, with that type of setup to do that. But it's if you got a good group of folks, it works out really well.
It's interesting you say that because I feel like shows out here have maybe changed a little bit, because I feel like shows used to be kind of focused on like 4 or 5 bands, and now I feel like it's consistently 3, and that's been kind of interesting change to me over the last couple of years. I don't know if you see the same, out where you're at. I'm seeing like less bands on some bills, unless it's a completely stacked bill, 15 bands. We're going from 9 a.m. to the next morning sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
I don't, I here it really depends. they tend to overbook because a lot of people cancel, which is kind of par for the course, you know, when you're dealing with some of these people. But like personally, 3 is perfect. You know, you push 4, and then all of a sudden they're cutting your set down. Hey, well, you only got a half hour. Like, I can set up all this stuff to play a half-hour set, guys. Come on. So
Sure.
3 works out. But I've also found out the crowds here, or you know, the clubs here, you don't want to headline. You know what I mean? So it's like you know, you want to go in the middle. Because
That's right.
first band, nobody's there. You're in the middle, you're good. The headliner, people are leaving. You know, so we're like, well, I'll never headline another show. I hit it in the middle, and like the place is packed, and that's how I get them. You know, so if I do a show, I'm like, hey, you want to headline? Yeah, man, I'll headline. All right, bro, you got it, bro. You know, and you feel bad because like people start leaving. So other than the other bands supporting whoever's on last, you know, it just doesn't work out. That's here. I'm not sure where anybody everywhere else would, you know, is, but for some reason that's the dynamic here. If you go on last, it's going to be violins and crickets. You know, it's like everybody starts walking out the door. You know.
No, I would say that's similar out here as well. You know, it's like with us anymore, if it's a decision between going on first or last, we're probably better off going first than last. You know, and you know, there's usually more people there at that point anyway. You know, this certainly depends on the show, but you know, for the kind of like regular local bill here, you know, that's kind of what we've seen, you know, in our experience so far.
Yeah. It's you gotta play the dynamic on it, you know. So you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, you know. When I want to have the most people, I want to have the most effect on this club, you know, and the biggest reaction. And I know with Crimson Carry, with my last band, you know, I had a female singer, and she would kill it. I mean, just kill it. I mean, just her warm-ups on the microphone would stop the entire place. You know, she was just had that powerful voice, and so anyway, yeah, the place would be at a standstill. But it's a weird dynamic. You wouldn't think. You think, okay, I'm going to headline. I got, you know, we're going to go on last and headline is no, it's not.
Yeah.
No one's going to see your shit that way. Trust me. You know, so I kind of
maybe 3's the ticket then. You know.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're really crunched. I play some bigger shows out in Macon where there's several bands, and it just gets really rushed, you know. And I like the clubs and stuff, or the theaters out there are real cool to play in, you know. But it is a bit rushed, you know. We are scrambling around and trying to make it work, you know.
Yeah, and I think someone usually gets squeezed then, you know, at that point, and that's always a bummer. You never want that to happen either. So.
Right. It's tough. It can be kind
quite
of
the
tough,
juggle.
But, oh man, you just ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. It's something else, you know. But yeah, definitely. Let me kick it back to Henry. So he's got another question for you guys.
Yeah. The past couple of shows that I've been to, I've been about 3 bands. The Nosferatu Fest, though, back in February, with where Plan 9 headline, was pretty interesting because they started off with the sideshow performer first, and then the first band, the Necrotones, went on, played their set. They came off, and then a burlesque dancer came out. And then the Hates went on, and then they had another burlesque dancer come out, and then Plan 9 played the show and tore it up, man. They were badass. But this past week, I just went to go see the Subhumans. They played here at a place called the Rah Rah Room, and it was pretty much 3 bands, you know, and each band got to play their full set, but they had to like tear down pretty quickly in between. And after the show, of course, you know, the Subhumans were there, so I ran up to them. I got all 4 members to sign my vinyl that I bought there at the show, and they were pulling out. Even though they were tearing down and carrying stuff to their van, they still took the time to say thank you and sign my vinyl for me. So that was pretty awesome. But getting back to the questions though. So this is a big one for me because this was the first song I had heard from you guys. What is the story behind "Tear for the Drowning Boy"? What's that concept all about?
Well, so it's a standalone kind of song, but if have you read the book or yet or no?
Yeah, I've read the book the other read it when I got it a few. I think I got it in the last week. So
So
I know that there's something, some kind of to do. There's some kind of connection, but I just I I just wanted to hear from you guys.
yeah, my friend who wrote the book added just there's a because it's talking about the boy who's blind, but he ends up being able to see ghosts and stuff, and
Yeah,
he made a few characters, and he said, oh, and one of them was this kid that would see in a loop drowning over and over again, and it just mentions it like in 2 sentences or something, and I was like, I'm gonna write a song about that. That was pretty cool, and it links in with our thing, but
yeah. That whole concept of the character being blind, but then he's blind, but he can see the spirits is pretty awesome. It's definitely something different that I've never really seen, and I've never really seen that with the band take that kind of concept and roll with it before. So it's very I feel that it's very unique and different. So
It's been a lot of fun for us during live shows. As we've grown, because we're a pretty young band, we haven't been doing this iteration very long, but it's been fun as we've kind of, I think, grown and learned, especially Jason, as we kind of like ham it up, play it up, with like the talisman inside the box and, all the spooky little things that we do, like we have communion at the end of one of our songs.
a unique and original idea that to incorporate this character that he's blind but he can see spirits, and sometimes it's like he sees, I don't know, people's fates, almost like with the drowning boy. He sees it happening
yeah,
over and over again. It's
it's
pretty
stuck in. He tries to free them with something called the Devil Song. It's incorporated in the first album and the second one, but yeah, that's why they come to him. He's kind of like a exorcist, kind of, but not really.
Yeah. An exorcist that allows you
Yeah.
to like move your spirit on if you've had, I think, like trauma or some sort of,
Yeah.
I don't know, darkness attached to you.
Yeah, like kind of like maybe like if somebody died in this like horrific manner, and there's this great sadness with it.
Hmm.
They go to him to try to get, I don't know, free, or you know try to some kind of alleviation there. But it's definitely a badass concept. Like I've never seen that before. So like I said, I think that's what makes it very unique and different. So it's
I
awesome.
also, with Drowning Boy, I also thought it was kind of cool because how many people are just go missing and you have no idea. So like nobody really knows what happened to that kid. In the story, he goes missing like 30 years ago. Nobody really knows. Only our lead character knows and sees him and wants to spread the word.
Almost in a clairvoyant way.
Remember that kid who never got found? He drowned in like
Right.
a mile from home. Not that's what happened to him.
Wow.
Not you know what I mean? Terrible, terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah. Wow.
So it'd be
So,
nice if we have like a big old movie someday of all of this, And
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like a feature film coming up here. Let me get Spielberg on the phone and see if we can get him to work his magic.
sure, if I win that lottery ticket, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, John
Hell
and I
yeah.
could be extras in the movie.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Yeah. Do you want to be the Johnny Boy?
Yeah, woo,
Yep.
no good.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Funny.
That's kind of crazy. So when you guys when you're playing your live shows, you know, is there a certain uh, like personas, certain things you want to project when you're up on stage?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you see bands that are like, you know, pretty well put together. You know, I think visually is just as important as your music that you do. You know what I mean? So how do you guys present yourself when you're on stage?
For us, like at the time, I remember I wanted to have like a uniform look, like the Ramones. Black leather jacket, all of them. And so we all wear like a black button-down shirt with a collar, and you know, almost like funeral attire. At that
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
We don't paint our faces or go that route, but otherwise, Jason, he's the front man, but I also kind of see him as almost like a master of ceremonies, when it comes to this sort of thing, kind of leading the charge, and then with some like props that he has, like some eyeballs, for example,
Yeah.
stuff like that, trying to kind of tell the story, little pieces at a time, because we're also trying to write a compelling set too, and writing a compelling set of songs that do the trick is important, especially because we want to have the roller coaster. That's why we have a lot of major key and a lot of minor key songs, because to me the darkness is not dark if you don't have the happiness. You have to have the happiness for the sadness, and that kind of vice versa. And so we really try to play off of the duality musically to help tell the story.
Yeah, and on the stage, I mean, I wear a three-piece suit. These guys all, like you said, kind of like a funeral dress. We have the organ start out the show. I used to light candles and stuff until the candle wax spilled all over the merchandise. And I was like, all right, maybe not live candles, but yeah, I'll do all sorts of stuff. We got a song called My Eyes, and I have bouncy eyes I like to chuck at everybody. Just it changes from show to show. I try to keep it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that, perfect.
Yeah, we show the day Ozzy died, and we threw out some candles for him for that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like so.
Tough day otherwise,
But yeah, we like to present ourselves somewhat professionally and
Yeah, for a bunch of goofballs,
Sharp,
we try to
yeah.
Be serious about it.
definitely not wearing Mario Brothers shirts on stage, but
Yeah, I was just about to. Yeah. And you see a lot of that. You see a great band, or and but they're wearing like Budweiser Who Farted hat or something. I'm like, wait a second, you guys are, and they're good, but they're missing it. It's like you got to bring a performance to it. And I've always stressed that with my other band. I was like, look, you have to have some kind of something going on here. You can't just walk out there like 4 or 5 individuals. For me, it doesn't work. If you're a band, then you're a band. I'm not saying you got to look like the Four Tops or anything, whatever. But some kind of theme to it. You know what I'm saying? Something.
100%.
So I would just deck my guys out in black. That's the best. That's the only thing I can figure. Just everybody's black. That's it. Yeah.
I think it's good to have that cohesiveness, at that point, because in bands that we were both in together previously, it was very much, the jeans and t-shirt, whatever, it didn't matter, in the metal band that we played in, a few years back. And, and I think that was fun for the time. But then when Boogeyman came up, really as a side project, it's like, okay, I think we need to like take a look at, how we present ourselves, because at the end of the day, yeah, we have songs and music, but we are all of us entertainers, and people are looking to be entertained. So
when our bass player joined the band, he came to practice. Bless him, love him. He played with pink guitar cables, and fine before the first show, I had to finally be like, "How about no pink guitar cables, man? I don't want to. I'm still punk." But
still a running joke today.
Yeah, he makes fun of me every time. Like, oh.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
We're real rigid, So.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. It's important to have the look. I got a friend of mine. He's they're putting him in different magazines with his band and stuff like that, and so they're fighting that battle a little bit. Where hey, you guys have to step it up a little bit, because he found the look. He's got this really killer kind of costume, I guess, if you want to call it that, and everybody else is kind of your T-shirt type guys, even though they're all in black, and they're like, no, we need something a little bit, step it up a notch here, guys. Basically, is what they told them, So
Sure.
it works though. You have to do it. You have to do it. Otherwise, you'll go so far, and then something as simple as that is going to hold you back. You know what I mean?
It could be. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So that's cool that you guys are doing that though. I mean, it definitely gives you a step up. You know what I mean? From some other performers. You want to stay ahead of the power curve, so to speak. When you're out doing your thing. So.
Sure. I think something that's always really helped too, and I wish we got something like this long before we started Boogeyman, is the banner. And
Yeah.
every band out there, get a banner, man. Like, it just steps it up, makes it look more professional. I don't know, there's kind of a rule in our band, or at least with me, and it's like, let's not think on local terms, let's think on national or international terms of yeah, it might be ridiculous to, put yourself against Iron Maiden, with their crazy ass stage show, but hey, what can you do in your means, to try to up the production value here, so.
Confetti popper.
Yeah.
Confetti popper. We did. The banner thing, they're pretty inexpensive. Nowadays.
Yeah. They're not bad.
I had a giant one, and I do mine on canvas, but you can get them, on a cheaper material. But still, I mean, I had a gigantic Crimson Carry one we were playing, and I had them on poles, the whole bit. And it wasn't that expensive, and it works, So yeah, it's good to do that. Like when we handed out, I don't know where someone got the idea. Might have been my singer or whatever. I had like 200 of those glow bracelet things with Crimson Carry, and they were red.
Cool.
And I had. Yeah, and we found these two girls, and so while we're going to start playing, look, hand these out. Man, they look here. They went like wildfire, But just something like that. A couple of bucks, and you just, any kind of things you can throw at them. They eat it up, man. They went. It's good. It's good promotion for you guys for sure. And the buttons too. You can get buttons made for almost nothing,
Yeah. A lot of options out there. It's nice. It makes some things a little easier, especially with some one-off T-shirt printing and some of those sort of things. It's like, all right, you don't have to head to the post office every day and ship something out or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You make it work. You make it work. Freebies are good. Sometimes you gotta give away stuff to get a response. So it's all good.
Oh yeah.
But-
T-shirt spears.
Yeah.
It's around here somewhere that we need to.
Yeah, we have some
utilize.
shot glasses we need to get rid of.
We might start pouring our communion wine into that and handing out shots.
It's kind of a lot because they're glass.
Yeah.
We've broken a bunch of them into shirts before, and that sucks.
Oh, and when we got them, I was at the merch booth, and two guys, I was like, "Here, take the freebies." I gave him a cup, a glass, and he was like, "Dude, I'm a recovering alcoholic." Two people told me that and wouldn't take the shot glass. So I was like, "Oh, all right." Well, I was like,
the way to go.
You put Pepsi in it, an ounce at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. You can sit it on the shelf and not pour anything in the damn thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
But I remember,
God.
like, oh, okay.
Kool-Aid is-
Yeah.
Yeah. Drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah, there you go.
Kool-Aid.
Drink the Kool-Aid. The spaceship is on its way, people. You need to drink the Kool-Aid. Here we go.
This is our Jim Jones song.
Yes, with Jim Jones. Yeah, exactly. Holy jeez. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. That's wild. But hey, you got a few more questions you want to throw their way?
Yeah,
Or
let me go through my little list here. Um, so I know y'all mentioned it earlier, but can you tell us a little bit more about the new EP that's coming out? I know it's a prequel to the next full length, but just maybe a little bit more info on that.
Sure. So the EP, what we wanted to do, it's 6 songs. It's all done, and we're ready. But what we were trying to do, because I feel like Boogeyman is kind of more on like the melodic singing side of things, and so Jason and I thought we wanted to throw a little curveball and do kind of like our own little Earth AD.
Yeah.
And so this
Wow.
number is going to be a little more, I don't know, I'd like to say angular, a little more thrashy, short.
Yeah.
All the songs are about 2 seconds or less.
No, 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. How do we get it?
Well, we're calling it like our more hardcore record. I don't know if it fully is because it still has all the melody, but it's just a more intense than we've ever been and maybe ever be. Who knows? But
Yeah.
we took it. We were just like, let's just punch in the face this time. So the Drowning Boy is like a really like, and this one's a little more like that. That's how I can describe it.
yeah.
Just like that.
I can't
So-
wait to hear that.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear that one. 'Cause-
We're gearing up to do some videos right now for 2 of the songs, and so we haven't done any sort of music videos before with this band, and so we're gonna jump back into that and get that going here next week, starting, and hoping to get everything wrapped up. The pressure's on. Timer's ticking, but here we go. And I'm sure we'll be a-okay here. But no, it's been fun. We have more material written. We have another album written past this, which is kind of more of a return to what we do the best, I feel.
The third album is going to be awesome too. We haven't started recording it yet, but it's fully done. So.
Yeah. So,
Written wise, all demoed out.
yeah, so I write all the stuff at home, and then I email it to Jason because he lives in Casa Grande. I'm out here in Mesa, and that's about an hour away. And Jason will take all the music and he'll write the lyrics and sing to it and put all of his harmonies on it. We're real Bad Religion, harmony kind of focused, in that vocal way. And so that's kind of how we make the sausage here out here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. We write so
Wow,
much.
yeah.
Constant, too much. We write too many songs. It's hard to even put them out.
We got quite a bit right now. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. Because it's better to have. I think it's better to have too many than too little.
we've never been in this situation before. I agree.
I like it. We have so many songs to choose from.
Other bands,
Yeah.
it was like, kind of coming up from behind. Because when we first started Boogeyman, the problem was, I don't know, with all the other bands we were in, we were out there playing live for maybe years at a time before we even had any album or anything. And with Boogeyman, since a side project, it was like, no, we're not going to do anything until we actually have an album in hand. And then we'll go do all that. And so really it's Jason and I and my brother Eric who plays drums. And then we got 3 of our good old boys jumping in with us playing bass and guitar and keyboards. So we're very fortunate, to have a good crew right now of good guys, helping us, with our spooky shit right now. So it's been good.
Yeah. So that sounds like a good plan, a good approach to, get the album out or get something out tangible and then go promote it playing your live shows. So I think now you guys present you can do vinyls or CDs or stuff like that, or just digital or.
We haven't done vinyl yet. We do press CDs.
Okay.
I hope we could do vinyl here in the future.
Yeah, we'd like to do the first album,
Yeah.
on vinyl. Like I don't know, Pie in the Sky. I want to do the first and second album on vinyl, double disc, and then have like the first book, then with the second, which is not even written or done, but have it all like compendium, like it's like Lord of the Rings style, like epicness, when it comes to that sort of thing.
It's gonna be
So,
pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we always had like an eye for like trying to be quality this time around, because with other bands it's like, here, we're gonna go Xerox some shit off and make a little flyer, the old school way, and that was fun at the time. But this time it's like, no, and it is expensive, to constantly pay for art and not use AI, and try to keep things raw in the studio, and we're not trying to sample a bunch of drums and this that. I don't know. We take a big page out of the Ramones book here.
Yeah. We got the old school mentality, we know.
Yeah.
No
Well, so that's
auto-tune.
another thing we've always, we've asked that question before to other bands and stuff. Is what are your thoughts or views on AI? Because there's stuff out there that's totally fake, and someone's taking credit for it. But then there's other people that, they're writing their stuff and they might use AI to get some concepts going, but it's their music. You know what I mean? So it's like I think somewhere is a fine line with AI. Not totally. For me, it's like if it's completely AI and it's fake, then you're not you're not really, like, you guys write your songs, you do your stuff. Yeah. It's just crazy. People come out with this stuff, and you're like, and you can tell, I think drum wise, it's easy to tell if it's fake, because some of the stuff is like so tight, and you would need, like 3 Neil Peart layovers to get some of the shit they do. It's like that's not real. It's impossible to do that.
Sure.
Mhm.
So you can pick it out pretty quick. It's like something ain't right. But so what is your take on that as far as is it good to sample some stuff? Is it or to get some ideas, or stay away from it altogether? You know what I mean? What's kind of your take on that?
I'm not gonna blame nobody but as for me, no, I don't. It just feels wrong to me. But I do see, like, I saw, Rick Beato is the illustrious music YouTube guy. I saw a discussion with him, and they were saying how a lot of these people with a lot of money who, go into Nashville and they just hire a bunch of guys, and they come in and they're like, I don't know, give me something, blah, blah, blah. And these Nashville guys play it out in one thing. And it kind of evens the playing field for maybe normal folks who do want to use that. So, I think it could be a tool. I'm just like terrified of change. So I played CDs until I finally got a truck that didn't have a CD player. And I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I think it also kind of depends maybe a little bit in some ways, maybe like on the genre of music, because it's like I like industrial music quite a bit, and I'd expect to hear sampled bass drum or sampled snare or something along those lines in my face constantly, like all the time. But when it comes to, I don't know, Social Distortion, I guess, for example, no, I'd expect, kind of more of a raw sort of feel. I think it's one thing to use AI to like generate ideas for yourself, but if you aren't out there whittling the stick yourself, then you cheat yourself. I mean,
if AI is writing the lyrics, it hurts my soul, to be honest with you. Lyrics.
Yeah.
You should write your own lyrics, in my opinion.
But if
Yeah,
use it to like help jump board, like, oh hey, there's this cool story about this, that, and the other, and this helped me, and then you took it yourself and made it so, okay, fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm working with this guy out of Anaheim, California, and he's got some good tracks, and so we want to put live, a human drummer on, on the track. So he had to use, a fake drum thing, and but you can tell, like the guitars, the vocal, the bass, all that's live. You know, that's a real human. But unfortunately, when he was putting it together, the drums are not. And so when we rehearse it in the studio, and you add that human factor to your percussion, you know, there's definitely a difference. You know what I mean? It's not as I don't know. It's the drums. I find the drums are kind of more regimented when they're synthetic.
Oh yeah.
Where if you have a drummer, you know, he has, you know, there's a different feel to it. You know, when there's a human sitting behind a drum kit. So that's what I'm kind of involved with now. We got a bunch of songs that we're kind of put together, and so it's a challenge because now the drummer hears it and like, I can't play that. And we're like, no, don't even worry about that. You know, keep the basic beat is going to be the same, but put your own flair on it. Don't worry about what the fake drums sound like.
Yeah.
You know?
Then I feel like that's kind of like a sketch as you guys work on it collectively
Correct.
to get to your final draft.
Correct.
You know.
Yeah, it is. It's just a scratch. We're using it as just a scratch track, and then we're just overlaying. You know, everything branches off from that. But I think it's got some positive stuff, and it does have some stuff that I disagree with. You know, I'm old school, obviously. You know, there wasn't even computers when we were doing our shit. You know, it was, yeah, I'm kind of an old school musician and stuff like that when it comes to that. I just like the old school studios. I like the smell of the studios. I like the whole concept behind it. You know what I mean? When you go and record and stuff, it's just that to me is my playground, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's our second home.
Yeah. I love it.
Dude,
too.
I'm
I don't know
telling
if
you.
you like the smell of our studio once we're done with it.
Yeah,
Musky in there.
That's
a
fair.
little musky.
Fair.
But you know what I'm saying? You got the soundproofing on the walls. You got the electronics going. You know, just that type of crap. But yeah, sometimes it can get a little raw in there too. Oh yeah, believe me, I get it. Yeah, we keep the fans going just in case.
That's right.
Yeah.
No.
That's wild. So, Henry, you want to kind of wrap up some questions, and we'll land the plane, and I'll put this together.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to ask, so where can people go to find out more about Boogeyman?
Probably the best place, because we don't have like a website, and quite honestly, I don't know if we ever will go that route. Is probably Facebook, unfortunately, as much as I don't want to, Facebook. And Instagram. We have a link tree on our Facebook, so like the Spotify, we have a Spotify and a YouTube channel, Bandcamp. I think that's it altogether. So, we started out as kind of just a digital band. We weren't a live band, and so that was kind of part of the Boogeyman experiment in the very beginning. Was just like being kind of old school guys. We're used to just getting together and kicking out the jams and creating them that way and putting them out, but that's not how it happened. And this also, we started doing this like right before COVID, and COVID is kind of what rushed us into the studio. Really to kind of help our friend out at the time, because COVID had affected his employment situation. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that changed a lot of things. COVID did, for sure. So did you find, like for me here, when things started to loosen up, when COVID was kind of like settling down a bit, the clubs were packed because people were so starved for some kind of activity or live show. They didn't care who it was. We're going out. Once the floodgates opened up for a while there, everywhere you went was packed.
Yeah.
And I think it was just because people were so, trapped or not being able to go out because of COVID, or have limited stuff to do. That when you take something away from somebody, then you open up the floodgates. For a while there, it was crazy around here. Once you're able to go back out again, and we caught kind of we surfed that wave a little bit, with my band too. It was like, wow, everybody's coming out. It was, yeah, because they were so sick and tired of being home, you know. So it kind of
Yeah,
worked to our advantage.
yeah, and I think it did with us as well.
Hmm.
I think it just kind of happened the way it did just because of the timing of everything, and around the time, things started to kind of, I don't know, I guess be okay again. We started to outfit our band with some of our buddies that have filled in that play in many of the other bands across the Phoenix Valley here. So yeah, no, it's been interesting, as we constantly evolve, and move, through this universe together. It's always changing.
Yeah.
So
You guys remember going like to the first show? I think for me, biggest it was Bad Religion, and you see somebody sneeze. It's the first you kind of like, oh, you're good. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't know
It, it was it was a little unnerving. Like we went out to a couple of concerts. Like my wife and I went to a few shows, and we're like, well, we're just gonna go. I don't know what else we can do. We took all the protocols you can think of, and before we go, we there's like airborne, vitamin D, vitamin C, just whatever you can think of to. And then you're sitting there, and you hit up. It's like you said, you hit up one. You're like, oh shit! It's like,
back.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And you're freaking like, oh my god. But yeah, everybody got through it. It was tough. We weren't so bad where I live because we're pretty spread out where I am. I'm in farm country. I'm on the mountains of Alabama, like by the
Oh,
Tennessee
nice.
border.
That sounds all right.
So I'm like way on top of this mountain. So we were in New Orleans. My wife and I, and then we left from Hurricane Katrina to come up here.
Oh, damn.
So our hand was forced. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but I think if we would have stayed, I was right outside of the city. If we would have stayed there, like during the COVID thing, you couldn't even go outside. I mean, there was that kind of a lockdown because the real populated areas were tough. Here, I got farm to deal with. We were outside. It didn't really affect us. We were going anyway. We just couldn't go out to the city and go to clubbing. There was a couple little restaurants open, but as far as I still went to work, I didn't get to sit home. So it was it was kind of nice because the restaurants were the cleanest I ever seen them in my life. You know what I mean? They spaced you out. Everything was clean. The menus were all wiped down with the bleach and everything. Like, this is nice, It's just,
Finally,
and now it's right. Finally, yeah, they got it right. And now it's back to ketchup stains on and dirty napkins again. Like, what the fuck? Let's go back to the other show. I liked it better the other way. So
Yeah, there's some
it
things
was
I think,
crazy.
we picked up that were for good that we should have held on to. To your point. So
I also was
Yeah.
just like a couple shots of whiskey would probably kill anything. It's good.
Yeah, it was, and it was just I don't know. But anyway, hey, we're all here and we're all better for it, and we move on, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
right.
it.
yep.
So, but yeah, look, appreciate for sure you guys coming on. You're welcome back anytime. Just you hit us up, and as things progress, or you put something out or whatever, let us know. And we'll certainly like to have you back on the show whenever. You're more than welcome. And like I said, we'll keep some tabs on you and whatever. Just give us a yell, and we'll certainly like to do this again with you guys for sure.
Cool. Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be great. We had a great time with both you guys. It's just nice to get together with like-minded people and have a little chat. So.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's this has been really good. This whole forum that we started, it's been really interesting, and it allows me to express my creative stuff through my music and stuff like that. Because a lot of folks that are into my genre of music, even from the past, from the 70s and 80s, they always throw in my stuff about morning noise, and which for me is like. I think it's pretty cool that it's still there. There's still some kind of relevance to what I've done when I was a kid. I mean, 16, 17 years old when that stuff was out. I mean,
Yeah,
literally, So for me to have these conversations, kind of it keeps me motivated. from here, it's like I gotta, I now I'm psyched to get back. I go to the studio on Saturday and do my thing, and so it all just kind of keeps me going, So I think it's really cool. But yeah, but again, we'll definitely like to have you guys on, and come back on again for sure, and keep us posted on what and everything. And we appreciate your time and you traveling out to do this for sure.
Absolutely, man. My
you got
pleasure.
Thank you guys for having us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, man.
Are you doing bass videos and stuff, Henry? You still do like bass clips and stuff? Cover
Yeah,
songs?
I haven't done it in a while because my fiance was doing her college thing, so I didn't really have the time. But I'm gonna start picking that up again as well. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm gonna
See
start
that.
getting. I think I'm gonna be doing a little bit more original music. I dug out the 8-track the other day, and I just need to find my effects processor and lay down some guitar tracks and like a drum beat off of the little Vox amp plug headphone amp that I have, and I'll throw some stuff out there just to do a little bit more original flavor. And but I'll still be doing some covers too. I got to be careful with that though, because there's been a couple of times I've gotten some strikes against me, and if you get 3 of them, they take your channel down. So I don't want that to happen again. So that remains to be seen. I plead the fifth on that because I don't want anybody. I plead the fifth.
I
You could always put one of our songs, we wouldn't do anything. So
I want my court-appointed attorney to answer that question, please. No, I think a lot of stuff that we ran into was algorithm driven. Where it's like, okay, I put out some stuff and it's like, this will not be seen in some countries. I'm like, well, what countries? What are you talking about? There's so repressive, some of this stuff. And that's what drove us to put our videos out not only on Facebook and YouTube, but I use Rumble because if someone else takes it down, I know it's going to stay on Rumble. I link it to them. We have no problems at all with Rumble.
Yeah.
So they're a lot more forgiving. Unfortunately,
it's sad there's not a lot of music on it. I have to look up some other bands, and it's like hardly anybody has music on that platform.
Yeah, we're trying to slide more people over to it, mainly because they're not as restrictive. They're really not. Yeah, a lot of like media, political stuff. I get it, but we're on there for sure, and it works. Nobody bothers me on Rumble at all. But like I said, we still do YouTube. Henry's got his channel, I got mine, and we got Facebook. We got 3 different Facebook channels we use. You got to hit it from all angles.
Right.
So and I find for me, like on I got a Johnny Noise Nation thing. I find the shorts, my short little videos, do way better, than like a full length type thing. Because people's attention span is like quick. Give them 30, 40 seconds or a minute, and they're done. They're off in Neverland looking at some other shit. So
it's hard to get up to read a book and do the whole story. Trust me. It's kind of like, oh man, we're wasting our time over here. But
that's what's been tough with Boogeyman. It's quite an ask, when it comes to like, hey, we got this whole fucking story for you, dude. Read up.
Follow along in the lyric books.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't know, on the topical level, we just try to have fun songs, and then on the deeper level, you can really dig in super deep and get all you want out of it, really.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah. Just keep on plugging away and keep on having fun, man. That's what it's about.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you guys again for having us here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
We'll have to come back.
Sure, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for being on. It's been a pleasure. You're welcome anytime y'all guys want to come back. Keep us in the loop, and we'll have you back on, and it'll be another great time. But with that, guys, we can go ahead and land the plane. And
all right. Well, you guys
We will
take it easy.
see you in the next video.